Y'all, please stop trying to get me to run Linux on my computer. Listen, come here. I need you to understand something, okay? I'm looking at you, okay? Please stop with the Linux proselytizing. I get it. I know it's a better system. It's open source. It takes less resources. So technically it's better for everything, including gaming, now that the Steam machine and the Steam ecosystem has been kind of making waves in ensuring that gaming can be played. Like, gaming can be done on Linux-based hardware. But guys, we've got to admit that there are some hiccups.
Now, she is speaking from the perspective of having a wife whose main computer is running Linux. I run Bazite as my main PC.
I also have a Linux laptop. I'm running the stream on my Windows laptop right now, but I have a Linux-based laptop that I use that is my main use for schoolwork and for like whenever I'm trying to like do random housework that I'm not sitting at my desk for.
But she only has Linux on that computer because it is a spare computer. That it is not her main piece of hardware that runs all of this right now. This is running off of her Windows computer.
The thing when I started off by being really like hyperbolic. I think Linux is great. I think that open source software is great, and I think you should support it. I think we should always be willing to support it. But there is a real like tangible actual hiccup that open source technology and that things like Linux really do have, that I think a lot of people who are online trying to proselytize Linux, and it's not everyone, it's just a few people, but it's a few people who are really loud and it's annoying, so I gotta talk about it. They kind of refuse to acknowledge the fact that
it takes a lot of technical knowledge.
It takes a lot of technical knowledge. It is not accessible. And I'm going to say that with my full chest. And you all are going to look at me and say, what the fuck are you talking about, Saige? It's the definition of accessibility because it's open source. No. Accessibility in the terms of, sure, anyone can use it, but not everyone can use it. You have to have a lot of technical knowledge to go from using Windows to using Linux, or even from Mac to Linux. Okay? You may not think that it requires that much technical know-how, but it really does. All of it really does. It's the same reason that I really honestly got mad a few years ago when everyone was trying to tell me to build my own PC. Oh, it's super great. Oh, it's so much easier than you think it is. Oh my God, you'll never even notice that it's very difficult. Fuck you.
Y'all, I built my own computer. I run Linux as my main desktop. I would never recommend that for the majority of people.
You have to have a lot of technical know-how to get in it.
The only reason I was willing to is because I had been immersed in technology, just discourse and information and like YouTube, and I was a hobbyist. But I'm not a programmer. I want to learn programming eventually, and I'm wanting to start pretty soon, but I am not.
I want to bring up this comment that Wolfie made. Honestly, I love my tech friends, but anytime something simple and easy to use needs replacing, they suggest something incredibly complex and difficult to a normie idiot like me. So this is the entire point that I'm getting to, okay? The average person who is out there like proselytizing Linux and proselytizing open source software and doing this as if it were a job, but it's not their job. They just are really, really passionate about it. And I love the passion. I'm not saying that you shouldn't have the passion. I'm saying stop telling me to run Linux. If I have to install a new operating system,
you've already lost her.
It's already too complicated for my technical knowledge. Sure, I can learn those things, right? And I should, and I will eventually learn those things.
But you need additional hardware. You need investment in that hobby. You if all you have is one crappy laptop that runs everything in your life, you're not going to be experimenting with alternate operating systems when you do not know if they will work or if they will break everything.
I will never try to convince my mom to run Linux, even though I know it would change her life. And do you know why? I have to inform my mom on how to use basic iPhone features. As an Android user who's been using Android for 2 years and been out of the iPhone ecosystem, so that's getting increasingly more difficult, especially now that I'm thousands of miles away from her.
And all of you all use Discord, right?
Yeah.
She can't even open a video call in Discord.
Yeah. I'm at the point where it would be really convenient for my mom to have a Discord account so that I could communicate with her more regularly. I will never teach her how to use Discord because I think that is beyond her capability of reasoning. And some of you are going to be like, well, that's not the audience we're talking to. The audience we're talking to is everyone else. I don't think you understand that the jump from people with no technical knowledge to people with enough technical knowledge to run fully open source software that requires scripts and coding and also to install Linux. That's not step 2. That's more like step 5 of computer knowledge.
Yeah.
And of tech knowledge.
I am, like I've said before, I am running Linux. I am running Bazite, which means I needed to install it myself. I had the technical knowledge to be able to do that. I am not running anything more complicated because Bazite is effectively Linux Windows.
Yep.
Like, it is
idiot
for
proof.
games, it is idiot proof, it is safe. I do not need to use the command line unless I absolutely want to, and I cannot fuck it up.
So please, for the love of God, stop telling me to run Linux. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna get a new computer. My plan right now is to get a new gaming computer, to get a desktop PC, and it will run Bazite on it. It will run Bazite because I've gotten used to it on my laptop.
And on my computer.
And on her computer. And because, well, like I said, I'm already used to it. It's going to run Bazite. I'm going to do it. I'm planning on building the PC. I got my feet a little bit wet in helping build Audrey's Linux laptop that we got.
Because we recently bought a pair of framework laptops.
But the thing about the framework laptops is they're mostly already built. It's plug and play for a few components. So building an actual whole PC is a different ballgame, and for me, that's a step above what I'm comfortable doing.
And I was already a hobbyist when I started building mine. It was the first time I had ever built a computer from scratch by myself. It took me a full day with video tutorials. And I am going to be here to help Saige at every step of the way to supervise, but I'm still expecting it to take most of a day and to probably do most of the work.
Yep. And it's probably going to take a while to get everything booted, and I'm still going to have to set up the entire thing, and I'm still going to have to go through all of that. And it's not that you don't have to do some of that on Windows, but Windows is plug and play.
Yeah.
You turn it on, you fill out a few things, and it's there. And yes, there are privacy concerns, and yes, they put AI in everything, and yes, your data privacy, and fuck Microsoft.
And yes, Linux might be better for most games in terms of single-player games. But as soon as you get into competitive games, anything with anti-cheat,
anything that's multiplayer,
suddenly a lot of games are blocked off to you because they are on Linux.
Yep.
Not because the game can't run, because they can, but because the developers have decided Linux is not a market worth aiming for.
Yeah, that's why Mastodon never became a viable replacement for Twitter. It's a pain in the ass for the average person to figure out and use. True!
Yeah, we don't build games for Linux, and there is a reason for it. That is why, like we were talking about earlier with Steam, the translation layer of Proton that they have released and coming soon Lepton are so important because it allows the developers to code for the game programs that they already know. They don't have to learn and program a whole other code set for a different type of computer. They just have to make the one, and it works on both now. How many Linux distros are there? There are as many Linux distros as there are Linux distro developers. Like, it is an open source project, anyone, literally anyone, can download the code, change a couple of lines, and publish a fork.
And that's great. But stop telling me to use it. I'm going to eventually use it. The whole purpose of this segment, I'm being hyperbolic. I'm being unnecessarily hostile. It's not that Linux is bad. We've been glazing it too. It's just that there is a significant accessibility issue for everything that is Linux and everything that is open source. A lot of open source things have become more user friendly. I will give it that. A lot of things have.
But like, there is a reason Adobe, for all of its faults, is the industry standard for anything it is in. And there's a reason the open source alternatives are never used.
Yeah, honestly, can I be real honest? If it wasn't for the fact that it would literally cost me my kidney to be able to use Adobe, I would be using Adobe right now. It's literally, I'm being priced out. That's it. That's the only reason I'm being priced out of using Adobe. I would be using Adobe because GIMP is a hot fucking nightmare. Oh my god, it's so bad. For something that has been around as long as it has, you would think that it wouldn't take an entire fucking mod to fix. I'm not joking. All of the reasons why I use GIMP is because I installed a mod just to make it more like Photoshop. And it still isn't all that good. The one issue with open source software is usually that the open source alternative is either really complex to use or overly simple. And for some people, the simplicity is fine. And that's great.
And for often, the reason open source programs are so complex to use is because they are developed by developers for developers, because developers are the only ones that use them.
Yeah.
So they are programmed by people that understand programming.
Yeah, their end user is other programmers and not stupid fucking idiots like me. I will never use Lightroom again. I'm just telling you that right now. I will probably also never use DaVinci Resolve, although that one's less because it's complicated and more because who did that eat up all of the processing power of my computer? I'm like, there's a reason why people use Adobe software, and I recognize that I think DaVinci Resolve and Lightroom are more industry standards for like film editing. But there's a reason for that. They're designed for film editing. Just editing YouTube videos, fucking use iMovie. Don't use Movie Maker though. It's dead. But goddamn, finding open source alternatives for like video editors is a fucking nightmare, by the way. Kdenlive sucks. OpenShot sucks. If you really want people to use open source software. Oh, this is open source. Has ads. Yeah, exactly. If you really want people to use open source software, you have to make it usable by people who don't understand programming languages. You have to make it usable by people who don't understand how computers work, by people whose sole idea of setting up a new device is opening the box, pressing the power button, and putting it on the charger.
Like, there is a reason that corporate produced programs are the way that they are, and it is because they need to have as little friction between the purchase and the use of.
And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing, if I could do a little glazing of my own. Apple has one of the best ecosystems in the computer space. And do you know why that is? Because it's idiot-proof. Sure, it's complicated to use if you are a longtime Windows user, which means basically if you're anyone who's not a corporate tech bro. But it is idiot-proof. And the iPhone is so simple. My grandmother, my fucking, grandmother who is in her 80s can use one.
And yes, the reason that it is so frictionless is because they control how you interact with the software, as opposed to you having the minute fine detail of control that you get with open source software. Mm-hmm. The problem is, with that detailed control, you have to understand how to use it.
And so ultimately, my little rant here, or our little rant here, because I keep seeing people on my Blue Sky, in my Instagram feed, people in my fucking YouTube recommendations telling me that I need to install Linux or I'm a bad person, I just want to support the corporate fucking oligarchy who's ruining our lives and inserting AI into everything. Fuck you. I just do not understand computers, and I can learn a little bit, but I'm never going to be a programmer. I don't have the mental fortitude, the energy, or the interest in being a programmer.
She has the benefit of having me here and having my friend who is a back-end, like, programmer, developer.
I'm never going to be those things, and so if you want me to use your open source software, if you want me to use your Linux-based software, if you want me to use your device that runs a Linux fucking PC, if you want me to use your AYN Thors and you want me to use your fucking Steam Decks and you want me to make it idiot proof. Steam did make it idiot proof. I use those as examples.
Yeah, coming back to the Steam machine, that is why it is going to compete with consoles. It's because it's idiot proof. It's plug and play, hit a button, and your game just starts. It's why the Steam Deck has worked.
But yes, actually, Rain, talk to me like I'm 5. I need it to be idiot proof, because if it's not, I'm not going to use it.
Idiot proof on the front end with back end access for more technical users.
Yes.
That is the only way to make this successful.
But it seems like independent creators and programmers and companies that want to like create this kind of stuff, they only go about it one of two ways. They only want to make software that is either unusable by people with absolutely no technical knowledge, or they just want to make another closed loop system. Can I give you another example? Here's a product that I really like so far, that I use for script writing. It's called Ellipsis. I think it's actually kind of good.
It's written, like it was created by writers, for writers, with the promise to never, ever implement any AI tools.
And yet, it still hasn't done any AI bullshit. That's not what I'm critiquing it for. And yet, it's still a closed source project that right now only runs on a cloud-based platform.
Through a browser
that doesn't have an offline
application or program.
Doesn't have a mobile application, doesn't do a lot of the features that it does is now being put behind a paywall, which, by the way, is better because their model is pay to own. So you subscribe for up to 2 years and then you own the whole software for life, which is better than what most companies are doing. But the fact of the matter is, you either have that or you get LibreOffice, which is stupid and I hate it.
And it runs like Windows 98, like for Word 98.
And it takes up way too much damn storage space than it should. And it feels like it's got a fuck ton of bloatware in it, because it probably does. And anytime I use it, my computer runs like ass. And I that's probably partially my computer's problem. But this has been a thing on every computer that I've owned. And like, I'm bringing all of this up, not because it's a real issue. I'm not going to be like turning this into a crusade or anything. But I see a lot of this sometimes in my feed, and a lot of people kind of like doing this thing where they make you feel bad because you don't know how to run open source software and you don't know how to like go on GitHub and use every single bit of like fucking GitHub code and run your own fucking scripts and bullshit like that. I'm sorry, I'm stupid. That's just how it's going to be. Make the stuff easier for me to use and I will use it. I will stop using Windows as soon as it's viable for me to use Windows. I will stop using all of these. Like, if there was an open source version of Discord, my God, would I switch in a heartbeat. But it needs to be idiot proof. And by the way, when I say idiot proof, I'm specifically not saying user friendly, because user friendly is such a loaded term that means completely different things depending on the person you are.
But you have to be able to run it without accidentally breaking it.
Yes.
I'm a hobbyist. I love stuff like this. I love tinkering and learning little bits and pieces. And I built my own PC. Again, I did that. I'm really proud of that. I am not special. But before I had this computer that I built myself, before I had my extraneous miniature laptop for going out and writing not at my desktop, I wasn't able to experiment. I didn't have the resources, the time to invest into learning a lot of this stuff when I was younger. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of money. Stuff that people don't have anymore.
Yeah, that's another thing that I don't think a lot of people understand, is that open source may mean it's free to do, but it doesn't mean it's free to get into. If you already don't have the ability to get into it through having the hardware necessary to do so,
or you didn't get into it in high school, like learning like comp sci and comp engineering,
it's going to be real hard to get into it now. It's like we were just saying earlier about the problems with the gaming industry and about the video game crash that we are into. People will get priced out of it, and people have already been priced out of it. 20 years ago, it was a lot harder to even get into this stuff because the stuff just didn't exist, or it sucked. And now the stuff exists, but nobody can actually get in to make it better because everyone is out of money. Fun fact, this often doesn't pay.
Yeah.
So there's a lot less incentive for it to actually be made.
And another issue with open source is anyone can do it. But when anyone can do it, oftentimes a program gets released where only one person is programming it.
Yep.
And if that one person, drops the hobby or moves on to something else, then that program that may have become the backbone of the entire computer industry, it may lead to an entire industry-wide emergency. Open source is amazing, and stuff like this could only work because open source exists.
But it's not without nuance. If there's been a theme for today's stream, it's that.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all I've got on this.
All right. Thanks for listening to us rant.
Yeah. Thanks for the listening to the Linux trauma dumping session.